Hello my beautiful magical beings, it is Dragon Slayer 15 here, and today guys we are going to be continuing Kirishima X Listener Hanahaki AU, and this is Not Too Far Gone Part 2. And guys, thank you for the support, and without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? You sat in the back of Class 1A, staring out the window. You hated this class, but you had to make it look like you cared. You couldn't wait to get out of here and go to your dorm. It was the only place where it was quiet enough for you to think. You could hear somebody whispering, and you thought you heard your name, so you tried to listen in on the conversation. "Did you hear? Principal Nezu let them back in the school," one person said. It almost sounded like Mina. Another person, who sounded like Momo, replied with, "Yeah, they threw Kaminari and Jiro off the roof, right?" And not a second later, you heard Ida scold them for gossiping about you. You smiled to yourself. At least Ida was still willing to stand up for you, even though you kind of hated him. You turned back to the window and let your mind wander for a bit. You zoned out and were startled by a tap on your arm. You turned to see Kirishima standing by your desk with a small envelope in his hands. You looked at the envelope and back at Kirishima. He outstretched his hand for you to take the envelope, and you did. Kirishima quickly turned and left the classroom. You smiled and rolled your eyes. Typical Kirishima. Always so easily flustered. You opened the envelope to find a small note that read, "Meet me near the entrance after school. I need to tell you something." You were immediately filled with anxiety. Had he figured out your secret? Wait, he's kind of an idiot. He couldn't have figured it out that quickly, right? You thought as you stared at the note. You figured that you'd find out after you talked to him. The rest of the day went on like molasses in the middle of December. You couldn't have been more ecstatic when the final bell rang. You were so tired of putting on this facade of a happy-go-lucky student. You truly despised this school and everything it stood for. Then you remembered you needed to get to the entrance to talk to Kirishima. You took a deep breath and put on the facade once again, and walked out the front doors. Kirishima was standing a few feet away, with a bashful look on his face. You waved at him, and he waved back in response. You walked up to him and asked, "What did you want to talk about?" His face went as red as his hair, and he rubbed the back of his neck. "Well, I've wanted to tell you this for a long time, but never had the courage to do it until now," he said, averting your gaze. You waited as patiently as you could for his answer. You wanted so badly just to walk away, but then an idea hit you. I like you," Kirishima suddenly blurted out. You blinked in surprise, but then thought for a second. This might just work, you thought to yourself, and cleared your throat. "I like you too, Kirishima," you said with a smile. Kirishima stared at you, tears beginning to well up in his eyes, and he threw his arms around you in an embrace. It caught you off guard, but you hugged him back. After a few minutes, you whispered, "Kirishima, close your eyes." And you pulled away. You watched in anticipation as he closed his eyes, and asked, "Why, though?" You grabbed his arm roughly and clamped a rag over his mouth and nose, and said, "Kirogiri, gate," into an earpiece. A black and purple warp gate opened up behind you, and you stepped through, dragging an unconscious Kirishima behind you. As soon as you were both inside, the warp gate closed, and you were now in the new improved League of Villains base, an abandoned hospital. You looked behind you to see the familiar faces of Shigaraki, Toga, Dabi, and Kirogiri. Your family. Hey guys, so shall we get ready? It's about time you got here. Jeez, after having to look all over town for an old abandoned place, just because you screwed us over with the last one? Shigaraki said angrily. You rolled your eyes and chuckled. Well, I did you a favor. That place was gross anyways. Oh, come on, listener. Did you get him? Did you get him? Did you get him? Toga said excitedly. You roll your eyes. What does it look like? I've got him. Let's go. Working quickly, You tied Kirishima up to a chair with even more restraint than last time and put a blindfold over him. You knew that someone had caught you, but you didn't know who. Back at UA, Denki Kaminari raced through the halls to Mr. Aizawa's office. He had seen you walk through the warp gate. But how? It was impossible. He had never expected this. He raced through the door. "Mr. Aizawa," he said breathlessly. Mr. Aizawa turned around. "What is it, Denki?" But then stopped and became more serious when he saw Kaminari's face. "What happened?" he said, worried. "Listener to Kirishima warp gate," Kaminari said between gasps. "What?" Mr. Aizawa said, confused. "Listener took Kirishima. They're a traitor. We have to get them back. We have to get Kirishima back." "Okay, where do you think they might have taken him?" They probably took him to the old base. We gotta go back there." "Okay, round everyone up. Let's go." You knew, deep down, that they were really going to the old base, which was perfect. Of course, they would have expected you to go there, but only the really smart ones would expect you to go somewhere else. You were now sitting at a small desk with a needle in your upper arm. Toga was drawing blood, just for a plan. If they had caught you, she could transform into you quickly, and be able to stay like you for a little while, so you could run and hide. Everyone else would have to be recaught, of course, but everyone agreed that that was the best course of action. You made sure that Kirishima was knocked out enough for Toga to take your position. And after he woke up, he was just as confused as before. But then he remembered. "Listener, where are you? What did you do?" "Oh, nothing. Just brought you here. That's all." Toga walked up to him and took the blindfold off. But when he saw Toga, he saw you. She had quickly transformed into you, and you were hiding in the shadows somewhere. "What did you do? Why?" "Oh, just, well, we needed you." "They'll come for me." "We don't doubt that, but who says that they're going to capture us?" Dabi said, giving him a devilish grin. "They'll capture you. You're villains. You don't deserve any kind of remorse." Toga laughed. "Says who?" Kirishima thought maybe you were a little crazy, but not this crazy. Well, we've got you back. Where's Listener?" "Wait, this is Listener right here." "Why do you sound like Toga?" "Maybe her mannerisms are rubbing off on me or something. I don't know." "Now, you're gonna do what we want, little pet. My little rock." "What do you want from me?" Ransom." "Ransom money? It's not like villains to do that. What do you want?" "Secrets, obviously. Secrets on UA, of course. What else will we want?" "I don't know. To kill me?" Nah. But I'm sure Toga would love some of your blood. But unfortunately, she's preoccupied right now." And Toga didn't get to finish her sentence before a loud boom sounded at the door. "What? How did they find us? Then, Bakugo burst through the door and ran in and tackled Toga to the ground. She didn't put up a fight, though. They wanted this to happen. Soon, every other villain in the room was in handcuffs. Well, Kurogiri was in better handcuffs this time, and they all dragged them out. Kirishima, meanwhile, looked around the building after he was freed. It was so weird. This wasn't the normal base. Strange. They went back to classes as normal the next day. But Kirishima couldn't stop thinking about it. What had they said? Why were you acting so strange? Then the phone rang in Mr. Aizawa's classroom. He answered it, and then put it on speaker on accident. Apparently, unbeknownst to the police, you had actually been Toga all along, and they never even realized it. The effects of her quirk had worn off, and you were still lost somewhere. No one really knew where you were again. But Kirishima wondered, was it all for nothing? Had he confessed to you for no reason? But something about it made him think. His Hanahaki hadn't come back. Did you actually love him? Was it true? Did you really care about him so much? I guess he'd find out next time you met. And guys, that is it for part 4, I think. And you know what, guys? You guys are incredible. And also, think about some questions. I'm willing to answer some questions down in the comments about me, I guess. And, well, I guess other than that, have a good day, guys, and I love you guys so much. Bye-bye!